Well, good weekend, all. Ira Epstein with your weekend edition of your Spider Stock ETF videos. And this is for Friday, the 16th of December, 2022. You realize we have a 4-day week coming up, then Christmas, then another 4-day week, then New Year's, and then we're back to semi-normal. Okay. Now, this was the week that was. This is the week where the tiger was let go. And it was not Fed Chair Powell. It's the week of Christine Lagarde. She came out, and remember, it's been so difficult in the history of the European Central Bank to get them aggressive. They're generally, if everybody's going 50 basis points, they'll go 25. This time, she held everybody back. They wanted to go 75 basis points, and they went up to 50, and she said, we're going 50 again. And what she said is the strength of the labor market is so strong that the economy can withstand the fight that the banks have to put up to bring this inflation under control. And as long as we've got that labor that strong, let's go for it. Yes, she did it right. And that's basically what our Fed is doing as well. Member after member, they began talking today, 4 different ones from ours. This is the first speeches they've had after Fed Chair Powell. Boom, same thing. It's labor, it's strong, we can afford to go. So if you think that you're looking for a pivot down, don't even begin that story. The only pivot now that I'll accept in grammar is where do rates peak out and stick there for a bit. They're not coming down. Now, if you call going from 50 to 25 basis points somewhere down the road here as a pivot, I can accept that. But that's all that I'm accepting. Stop with the nonsense. They're going to drop rates. They will if the economy falters in a major way. So far, did you look at the unemployment claims this week? The labor's too strong. We're seeing the PMIs are terrible, right? I mean, if you're looking at labor, you're looking at productivity, they're not good. But that's that sector. The service sector is on fire. That's what you have to deal with. Now, I want to finish up with Polestar. Remember I told you that I thought they were going to fill the gap in the chart on the dailies, and they are. And you can see as you're backing off here, you're getting into where that gap would have been. You've come back down. The big question on this, are you going to get under these lows here? That's the real question. I mean, this chart's ugly. You've had a pattern where up until just now, you had higher lows, higher highs. You went up, you faltered against the key number, the 18-week. You'll say, Ira, why don't I have the 200-week up here? Because it hasn't traded that long. This is a new company. You can see back there. So you just keep that one on the chart. And this is the last time we're going to look at it in quite a while. I might bring on Ritchie Brothers auctions. I think that could be something that I might want to look at just to have some fun with this coming week. But back and forth there. You're going to pull in and just narrow in these Bollinger Bands. You might make a run down here, but you're not trending. You have the swing line up, the bias down, momentum down, but you don't have the pattern of lower highs, lower lows. When we come to KBE, the bank index, well, you're down to the 100-week and the Bollinger Band. This is where I teach you cover shorts. You're not embedded. This is where you take money off the table. I know you'll say, well, it's going to keep coming apart. Typically, it's not what happens. You get down to these numbers together and you get a bounce out of it. The industrial sector, I'm waiting for this to roll over. This is where I think there'll be a play back to the downside. You had your big outside week down. Again, this is all important because you see outside weeks, outside days all the time, and my course deals with that. But suffice to say, until this week's high is taken out, the odds favor the markets going back to the 18-week average to fight a battle. If in the energy sector you close now under 83.75, be careful. That will give you lower highs, lower lows, a settlement under it, and momentum turning down. You open the door down here. Now, speaking of energy, I don't know if you saw it today, but the Biden administration has given the go-ahead to now put out the tenders for 3 million barrels of oil for delivery in February. So they'll start buying it now. And then it'll come in. 3 million's too small. You just took out 100 and some odd million. You got to be doing 10 million at a time, Joe. Get the job done. You don't need to pick a bottom. You had the trade of trades. You got out of the market in the 90s. You put it out there and now you're going to buy it back in the low 70s. It's a good trade, Joe. In FXE, running against the upper Bollinger Band, will you back off from there? Well, that's the question. Are you either going to embed, and if you embed, you're going higher in my opinion, or this is where the correction begins. Now, how many weeks do we have in this where the market has the numbers over 80? Certainly this week, last week, not the week before. This is the week will determine, are we going to have the embedded reading? So important. Learn Bollinger Bands with embedded readings. Very crucial. In gold, this is where the pros, I think, came out. Yeah, came out. You'll say, what? Maybe it means dollar's going to rally a little here or that. But the first challenge of the 100-week average with an upper Bollinger Band, nah, I think that's where the pros come out. You got momentum up here. It's used up a lot of energy. I think you can pull back. The gold miners had an outside week to the downside against the Bollinger Band. If I'm right, you're not going to take this high out for a week or two, and you probably drift off in prices. It's my expectation. In ARK, she keeps buying what nobody else wants. Tesla, more Tesla, more Tesla. And her fund is paid for it. Now, I'm not saying Tesla ultimately won't be a buy. I am saying one thing only. It's been a terrible performer in ARK. In Apple, you know I've not been friendly this. Now, there will be a time soon that you want to own Apple. Apple is a great company. I believe that, you're looking at bargain times if you give a 3-year horizon, something like that, maybe even a 2-year horizon. But on the weekly chart, it's not a buy. It could still drop to the 130.23 area where there should be some short covering. Get back over 150.92 and you'll have my attention. That will say, you probably are through with these low prices, but you're not there yet. And timing is everything if you're a trader. In Tesla, again, look at today, down 16%. You talk about a stock that's getting punished. I thought it was coming down back up here, and you remember the conversations. I said there's too many electric cars coming out. I don't care that everybody loves Tesla. You're going to have the new Cadillac. You got all the new products from all the top-end boys coming out this year. No. Market share is going to be chipped away. You will see that. That doesn't mean that really belongs at a $100 share. That I don't know. What I do know is on the first challenge of a 200-day average, I don't care the panic of people. I tell people cover shorts. That's a 4-year moving average. I know people will say, well, Ira, that means there's something terribly wrong with the stock. Let's assume it is. History shows that the first challenge of that number on the upside or downside is often a good spot that if you've been bearish to cover, if you've been bullish to get out of the market, okay? We wait for other events. Is it embedded? It is. Should you be out of all of it? No. In terms of being short, you shouldn't be out of all your shorts, but you should be covering a chunk of them right there. When it's embedded, it means there could be a lot more downside. In Meta, this is a bear market rally so far. Now, I do notice that some of the big brokerage companies are saying Meta is now back on their wish list. They think the company's through with their problems and they're going to do better. Okay, but is our work saying to buy it? No, our work said back here. And I think you'd agree that when you lost the embedded reading, what did Ira say? This is what you learn. This is the week you lost the embedded reading, right there. You got your reading at 2050. Watch the week after. That's the exact week that it kicks in, right here. And your reading is now 24. This is the week you want to be out of shorts. I like that when you're over 21 on a reading, that's it. Now my goal is to get back to the 18-week moving average of closes. And that's what this market seems to be trying to do at this point in time. So I can agree with what the brokerage firms are saying. Do I know if it's a buy? It's not a buy for anything in my eyes other than that at this point. TLT, BND, EFA, okay. They've all had a heck of a rally, but now you've got all the bankers saying, we are going further, all of them. So I appreciate that it's up there. I don't think it's something that I want to play with in that manner. I think it's something that you can watch, see where it's going to carry and go with it like that. You keep hearing me talk about the Bollinger Band. Take advantage. Learn the course. Take a look at this that I put together for you and learn something. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time. And on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein on the road to your education.